Hi guys, Asera Aviendha here with my I always forget what to call this guy over here.
Husband.
This guy, that guy. Husband. Asera Aviendha here with Essen from Pantheon Plus, and we're gonna do another couple conversation video. Yes, that's still what we're calling it because you guys didn't give us another option, so stuck with that for now. Anyway, this time, we're gonna be talking about realism in MMOs, and this is going to be a two-part series. First, we're going to talk about character realism, and in the next video, we will talk about world realism. So, VR just did a stream recently where they were going over their updates to their character models, and there was a lot of discussion about this. People seemed kind of split. Some people loved the updates, and some people weren't really big fans. So we're going to dive into the updates on character models first of all, and talk about how character models affect realism in video games. Essen, what do you think?
Well, there's like two major schools right now of character models in games. There's Eastern versus Western. I wish I could make you laugh right now. It's funny. Eastern versus Western. Eastern is like it can go pretty crazy, right? You got massive chest, giant booty, legs up to like your neck.
Your neck.
and some very like NASA grade jiggle physics, right?
Wow, jiggle physics. Okay. Continue.
I'm not the one who made the games. I'm telling you how it is. And then you got the Western style games like the Horizon Dawn or what have you, or Mass Effect Andromeda is a good example, where all the female characters are basically androgynous. They got the blue haircuts and short hair and wide shoulders, and they're kind of muscular frame. Their face, they like you slap a beard on it, and that's a dude, right? Just a mustache, let's say.
So some of the comments that I have seen or heard were the new character model, the women's legs were too short now. They had no butts anymore. They're way too buff, way too masculine or athletic. Yeah, and there's like no curves basically. Like they say they don't look like women anymore. Which sounds like the comment you were making about the androgynous kind of veering of the way women are being designed in games now.
Yeah.
So first tell me what you think about the changes to the character models in Pantheon, and then I'll chime in.
The quality is definitely better. There's no question about that. For the dudes are pretty straightforward. They look good. They look like, a guy who's run out dungeon diving and killing stuff. He looks buff, but he doesn't look like He-Man. He doesn't have. He only has 30 abs instead of 80 abs, right? It's reasonable. It's reasonable. But yeah, I'd say the guys is spot on. But the girls are probably like, technically correct, but technically correct isn't always the best. Like, I'm looking for like a happy medium. All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna chime in. In video games, we have often seen that the female characters are more sexualized than the male characters. So the standard is, sure, the male characters also like an idealistic model, right? With like the 80 abs or whatever. Like
Sure.
He-Man used to have like, that's an idealistic version of a male. So most men don't really look like that. So the argument could be said like, oh, they're sexualizing the male models too. But the big difference is that male models in video games are typically also wearing a lot more gear. They're not running around half naked. And they also like you're saying, like they are heroic characters in these games who are out like killing bad guys and slaying dragons and stuff, and they should probably be pretty buff. So it's not necessarily
covered in armor. Yeah.
And covered in armor, yeah. So it's not necessarily, at least in my opinion, so much like a sexualization of the male character as maybe like an idealistic image of like what a heroic character would look like in a game, which I think that's what we should be going for when we're playing a game like this.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty spot on for dudes because the target market is dudes, right?
yeah.
And so that's why you see the Eastern games where the women are they get equipped breastplate, and it's like, okay, breastplate equipped, boop, like right over the nipples, and that's it. It's because it's marketing it towards dudes, and that's like the lowest level effort there is just like put everyone in a bikini, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty lame.
So that was going to be my other comment, is like the women in video games are often like exaggerated as far as their figures go. Like women should have curves, but they are often like ridiculously curved. Like the dimensions of like their bust and hips to their waist is more than unrealistic. And not just like the dimensions, like the way they make them stand, like the way they make them
Oh
pose.
yeah.
Like women don't stand with their legs like that.
That's the best. Like the one leg straight down, the other one is like straight out. Like, what is going on? Why are they doing what? Like, is she stretching or is she just standing?
The way they make their knees bend, like, okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
and then also like the legs are typically like, yeah, disproportionately long with disproportionately short torsos, and just also the gear, like they're just basically running around in their underwear. So it's not just like women in video games typically are more over sexualized, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I agree that Pantheon has definitely gone more like androgynous looking with their new models. And I think that this is a good like starting point. I want there to be a starting point that is more realistic. And then we've found out that there's going to be sliders. We don't know how elaborate the sliders are going to be, how elaborate the character customization is going to be. But we do know that they are going to have it, which is awesome. I think starting with a happy medium or like a more realistic base is the right way to go. And then, if somebody wants to make a character that is a female character that's so top heavy she can't run, that's more power to them. But I would at least like the option to like create a character that, in my opinion, is sexy because she is powerful and like her gear looks cool, and not because she looks like a porn star. Sorry, Theric.
Hi there, it's Theric from the editing room. Just to clarify that last comment, I don't want porn stars in my video games either. And now, back to your regularly scheduled conversation.
I don't want that to be like the default, and that I can't customize away from that. Especially with like my big pet peeve has always been the leg length in video games. So that's how I feel about it. I feel like they maybe are more androgynous right now. Hopefully we can customize them to look one way or the other to a point. I just don't want to start with the default like porn star female character.
Yeah, I mean, I recognize that it's never going to be exactly where I want it. That's fine. But if I'm leaning towards either direction, throw hypersexualization right out the door, right? If I'm leaning towards perfectly realistic, or perfectly idealistic, I'd rather fall much more towards idealistic than perfectly realistic.
Agreed. I mean, we're playing a video game where our characters are heroes, so I think they should look heroic, like more muscular, more athletic.
And frankly, part of looking heroic is looking good.
Right.
That is.
I agree with that.
And even for like the end game, a big part of end game is quite frankly, fashion. And if what you're putting that armor on doesn't look so good, that kind of spoils the end game.
Yeah, that was a big complaint I had with EverQuest 2, was the gear was just all terrible. Okay, one more thing that I want to say about like the sexualization of the characters. They didn't say it in their stream, in VR stream, but it was said in the like Pantheon Plus after party that we had, where Rona came on and said that Brad's vision for the female characters in his game was that he could create a character that like his daughter would be proud to play, and I thought that was just like such a noble goal to have, so that like females who do play these games, we can still look sexy and we can still look powerful and cool, but we don't have to look like 80s.
Yeah, I think that's wrong though. I see. It's respectful. I get that, but I think it's wrong. Giving the sensibilities these days, and a look that women can aspire to. Those are code words that we've seen again and again and again not play out so well. I'm talking about the new Diablo model, or the Diablo Reborn models, or Resurrection model, whatever it is, of the Amazon, who in the original Diablo 2, she was super sexualized. There wasn't that much skin showing, just her whole butt was showing. Right? Let's be honest about that. But chest wise, it was all covered up entirely like a leather piece. There was no skin from here down to her waist, nothing. And when they did the resurrection thing, they added a little skirt thing, which is fine. I'm good with that. But then, they made her chest smaller, and I'm fine with that too. That's fine. But they took her face, and I swear to God, they added an Adam's apple.
Okay, well, that's not sexualization, though. That's
I agree. So why would they take, a model and then make her ugly? It's the same thing what they did with Horizon Dawn. You see the voice actor for that game, for the main character in that game, and they show the picture of the voice character, and she's beautiful. And then you zoom in and to the character, how they made her in the game, and she's fair on a good day, on a very good day, with great lighting.
That's a little bit different than sexualization. That's they made a poor choice as far as just.
Yeah, but it was a choice, right?
Yeah,
it was a choice to go ugly, and that's what you're seeing in Western games now. It's oh, we want to respect all women, and by making them ugly. I don't think that's respectful. I think it's weird.
That's not respectful, and hopefully Pantheon doesn't go that far over. I think just making the body types not look like Hugh Hefner's mansion full of girls is what I'm going for.
I'm fine with them. I'm fine with them looking like Playboy bunnies, as long as they're not dressed like Playboy bunnies.
Still disagree on that one.
I'm sorry,
okay, well let's.
What?
We can't talk about this all night. Let's move on. So the other changes that they made were just more definition in their hands, their feet, their knees and elbows, the moving away from the Megamind head, which I think everybody was happy to see.
I want you to put a picture of Megamind on the screen, and then next to it, I want a picture of the Goombas from the Super Mario live action movie. Right? We went from Megamind to Goombas, although they're just now realistic. So.
Yeah. So those changes make the character models look more realistic, and so far, for all the comments and comments that I've seen and read, everybody is happy with these changes. Especially people are freaking out about how cool the hands look. So that they look more realistic. People are excited about it. I'm excited about it. So yeah. A debate on female characters' attractiveness, but overall, the more realistic models people seem to be excited about.
Yeah, the details are great. The forearms, you can see the individual muscle groups. They look great.
Okay, let's move on to still talking about characters and realism. So another topic that I've seen discussed is whether or not people want to have their characters and NPCs in the game have solid bodies, bodies that you will
collision.
What did collision? Bodies that you will collide into, as opposed to
bodies will collide.
As opposed to phasing through them. So let's talk about that. There's definitely pros and cons to both sides of this. What do you think, honey?
Well, I think there's a whole lot of cons. I think you have all NPCs and mobs, pretty much any non-player character. There you go. Should have a physical form in the space. Should be you can't walk through them. But players, you got to be able to pass through them, just because for so many reasons, right? There's so many mistakes you can make with this. That's so just in terms of, if you take out combat and everything, the real game, take all that out and just put it in an auction house, and you have 50 people who want to get to the auction house.
Or a crafting table.
Or any quest giver, especially on launch day.
God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that would be a mess. You'd literally be standing at the back of the crowd waiting for your turn to get up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would definitely open a lot of opportunity for people to be a-holes and
griefing big time.
Yeah, definitely. Um,
Just
also,
form like let's just like a ring around the quest giver.
yeah.
Like that's my group. That's our 6 guys. All right, here's what we're doing, guys. We are going to bottleneck the entire game for
And
everyone.
think about that in combat too, though. So, like, if you're out fighting a mob and you could literally like body block and keep your healer or your like wizard in the back and never getting hit because you have like all of your melee classes just like crowding the mob, like that sounds like it would be cool and fun, but that would definitely take a lot of the challenge out of it, and it would also like create issues with pathing
Yeah.
with mobs and with NPCs. Like if they are trying to walk on their set, programmed path here, and then they're blocked and they can't get around, or are they just gonna be like walking against this surface until they can get through, or like is it gonna? It sounds like it would just cause all kinds of bugs and problems. I think
It's
it's
a
best.
nightmare
Yeah, let's just stick with the phasing bodies. That's my verdict.
for players.
Agreed.
Yeah. Agreed. We agree on that.
Agree.
I'm right
Awesome.
about everything else.
Okay. So along the lines of character bodies, let's keep these bodies alive by giving them food and drink. So, how realistic do we want food and drink in Pantheon to be? Do we want to be able to do we want to have to drink drinks and eat food to be able to like stay alive, and if we don't we die of like starvation or thirst? Or do we only want it to be like something that it gives us buffs or like encourages the crafting system?
I would rather reward the smart player than punish the unattentive player. So I'd rather not take any damage or death from food or drink, but give and I think a very significant buff from food and drink. It doesn't have to be just a stat buff. It could be like run speed or detection ability or anything. But I think it should be food and drink should give bonus at least equal to 1 piece of gear.
Okay.
I think it should be really strong to really encourage crafting and to make sure that you always, if you're like planning on like doing well, that you always have food or drink equipped.
I kind of like going a little bit stricter with this. I hearken from the days of EverQuest where you had to have food and drink, and I was a ranger, so I had forage, and I was just like always pressing the forage button. And then when I would be busy like raiding or like in a group for a while, and I was the pooler, and I would forget to press the button for a while, and you'd see the message pop up on screen, and I was like, "You are low on food and drink." And it's like, "Oh crap! I have to forage really fast, or like hopefully somebody in the group has some because you didn't like gather in that game." But it was just an added element of like I like managing a lot of things and like planning that stuff out. I think that's part of the challenge and part of the fun.
Yeah,
Especially if you can do it while you're out playing. Like if you can go like gather some berries, and it's not like you're not completely limited to vendors.
well, most of that what's going to be is like, hey dude, I forgot some food. Can you give me some?
Yes.
And it's going to be the guys I'm telling you, it's going to be the guys for the raid. It takes 40 minutes to get everyone together. We're finally all here. We're ready to pull. It's like, hey guys, I'm about to die because I don't have food. Can I get some food? And like, yeah, here you go. Here's your freaking food. Let's go. And like, oh man, I just saw that my armor needs to be repaired. This guy, you're fired. You're kicked from the guild.
That guy's always going to be there. You can't do anything about that guy.
That guy, you can kick him from the guild, right? That guy.
Well, but he's always going to be there. Okay, so food and drink for your character. This is a little bit off topic, talking about pets and mounts because we just had a stream about mounts. But it's part of the realism. So, what do you think about feeding your character's pets and mounts to keep them either alive or like give them buffs or keep them happy, like you used to have to do in Vanilla WoW? What do you think about that?
I feel the same way about it than I feel about the player characters, about rewarding the good players and just that sucks for the bad players, but it doesn't hurt them, right? I definitely think that food and pets should interact. I definitely think you should be incentivized to feed your pet. You should be able to interact with your pet in more ways than just hit the attack button, right? Pets should be more than a buff. They should be like an entity.
Yep.
And by interact with, I mean like you can feed them. You can, I don't know, they're like maybe you can learn how to play with them. They can do tricks. You like teach them how to do them. You learn new tricks like that. All sorts of things. But
that was my favorite part.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I don't know why I said but. I just. But
Yeah, butts on the brain. Anyway,
so
that was that was my favorite part about Vanilla WoW. I played obviously because Ranger Hunter, and I loved how you had to keep your pets happy, and not just by feeding them anything. You had to have the right kind of food for the type of pet that you had, and I just loved the level of like planning that went into that, and that added level of challenge in having that class. And then they nerfed it, and you didn't have to do that anymore. And then yeah, your pets were just basically
well,
a buff.
it wasn't a nerf.
Well,
It
whatever.
was just they just simplified it because that's what
Right.
WoW's
But
all about.
then you went to having pets that like could have been there or not, and
It's
I
just
would
a
never
buff.
have noticed. Yeah.
It's just like a dot.
Yeah. So what about mounts? We just had the stream, VR stream about mounts, and we got so many beans in that stream. Go check out Pantheon Plus's After Party on YouTube, by the way, if you haven't seen that yet. That was an excellent show.
Link
Hosted
in the
by
description.
yes, Theric. Link.
Got a link.
Get a link, Theric. That was hosted by Desrin, Mana Rohan, and Redbeard Flynn. That was an excellent after party. So they were talking about how when you first of all, you're going to be taming your mounts. Like, so when you're out in the world, you see a creature and you find out if it's tameable or not, and then you have to try to tame it and be successful with that. So there's a chance that won't work. And then once you do tame your mount, you have to like develop an affinity with them for a while. And the longer, like the more affinity you have with them, the longer you can keep them as a mount. So that they don't just like when they just don't like buck you off or like wander off as soon as you get off of them. I wonder if feeding the mounts will play into this somehow.
Okay.
That would.
I will confess a sin. I have not watched the stream yet. This is all news to me. But I have one big question. Once you tame a mount, is it yours?
Again, you have to build your affinity.
Yeah. You get that, right? But then, like, can you summon it and dismiss it whenever you want?
Yeah, there's going to be a stable system. We don't know if the stable system is going to be. You can only get them from this stable, and if you go over to this town and like, there's another stable. If they're not
so
there,
I ride out into the woods. I
Mhm.
get off my mount. I go do a dungeon. I come out of the dungeon. Where's my mount?
He went back to the stable because you left him alone too long.
Okay, so I need to go. All right. So we're getting the mounts here. I think I have a strong belief in this that mounts should follow the most profitable system probably in the world, and that is the Pokemon system. Pokemon makes more money than pretty much any other enterprise on the planet. Add Pokemon to anything and it makes money because Pokemon is smart. So I think mounts should be exactly that, right? You have to tame them. It's not always easy to tame them. It'll break, right? You have to grow an affinity with them. And then, once they're truly yours, once you've mastered them, then I believe you should be able to whip out that Pokeball, summon them out, and then put them back in the Pokeball for later use.
So you just want to be able to like click a button and he's there. Doesn't sound like that's gonna happen.
That's fine. But I'm saying, like, I think you should be able to like tame just about anything. Anything but like a humanoid. You can tame it and make it a mount.
Doesn't sound like that's gonna happen either. So listen, you didn't watch the stream. I'm not gonna update you in this video, but I do think that feeding pets, not pets, mounts. I think feeding mounts would be a really cool way to build your affinity with them, increase their stats, and at least those two things. Those are the only two things I can think off the top of my head. So
stats, huh?
Stats, yeah. So I think that feeding mounts would be a really cool feature to have also, which certainly didn't come up at all. And this is just my wish list.
Yeah, I think you should feed them a rare candy, and they should level up. Absolutely. No, but yeah, I think feeding them is definitely part of taming them. That's pretty easy.
Yeah. Okay, so there's lots to learn about mounts in the VR stream and the Pantheon Plus after party. Probably going to be some other videos by Pantheon Plus also recapping that. So check that out on the channel. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't already, click the like and subscribe button, you guys. Okay, a couple more things. So for character realism, we've decided how we want to look. We've decided that we need to keep ourselves either alive or buffed with our food and drink. What about cleanliness and like blood splatter? In the stream that we did with Nathan when we were talking about this after the VR after party after the character model stream. That's what that was. Nathan said something about why are characters always so clean? Basically, like you ran through a river and there happened to be a bunch of soap in it, and now you're like squeaky clean again, and there's no dirt and no blood on you. Like, why are these characters so clean when they are killing bad guys all day long? And I just thought that was so funny and so accurate.
This is a call out to the Dragon Age. I think 2 and 3 also, but Dragon Age 1 I was particularly like shocking, where you would go after a battle scene, there'd be like a little cutscene, and the guy walks up and he's just like covered in blood, completely. Like in his teeth, like he was like it was awesome. Like it really was. It was awesome, and like it went away after a while, because like if you've ever had like a nosebleed, you know, like blood, it's amazing how it gets everywhere, and it's really hard to get out.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're a tank and you've just been like slicing dudes up all day, you're gonna be gross, right? But if you're a mage and you're throwing fireballs, the only time you're gonna be covered in blood is when it's your own.
Yeah. Yep. So I love the idea of blood splatter too. That was one of my favorite things about DAO specifically, was just how gory it was. But the thing that I really liked about DAO also was the blood splatter slowly went away after combat was over.
Just like real blood.
I don't want to be like constantly covered in blood in Pantheon or in MMOs, because I mean,
that would be so bad.
In real life,
you would just be red the entire time.
Completely red from head to toe, and not just red, but like crusty, because it would like clot up and stuff, right? So I don't want to go there. I think while you're fighting, blood splatter, awesome. And then as soon as the combat is over, like a ticker starts and it slowly starts to like dissolve. That would be my choice.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm not like super for it. I mean, I'm for it, but I'm not like pushing for it, because I'd rather just like, you know, make the game. It's like a nice little thing to have onto it if you could, but I'm not.
Yeah, cool feature. I don't want it to delay the game coming out.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I want first, for sure.
Well, what about cleanliness? That one's a bit trickier. Like, I love the idea of like you run through a river and then you come out the other side and your boots are muddy for like, I don't know, 10 or 15 steps or something, and then the mud goes away. But again, I don't want to be like covered in dirt all the time. I don't want to have like stink clouds like following around behind me coming out of my armpits. Yeah. Like I'm thinking of
like real life,
games, which I've also played.
Yeah.
And we did just find out that part of the taming the mounts is going to involve using stealth, using sound, and using smell. Like you're going to have to possibly mask your scent.
Is this turning into a hunter sim game? I can't wait. Are we doing buck hunting 2022? I can't wait.
We're going to have to like cover our bodies in like feces to cover our scent so that we can go tame these mounts. I don't know why. I just think that image is so funny.
Are the craftsmen the wood carvers? I think it's like duck horns, like duck calls. Is that what's gonna happen here? Are we gonna get a duck mount? Please give us a duck mount.
Oh my gosh! But what we don't want is to continue to look like we are filthy or look like we smell filthy for the duration of the game. I would honestly I like the idea of like the muddy boots. That's about as far as I want to take it. I don't ever want my character to look like I'm stinky.
Yeah, and again, like not a huge priority.
Yeah. Okay. One more topic before we wrap up this character realism video. Inventory and your inventory weight having an effect on your character's like playing. Like getting encumbered is something that's happened in games in the past. So if your bags are too full, too much weight, you get encumbered and then you move slower. What do you think about that?
Eventually you can't move at all. I am for it. Coins having weight. I know Drac loves that. I don't know. I give or take. I don't care about that either way. I'm fine. But inventory having weight. I am strongly for that not because how it affects the player, but how it affects the developers and how the game is designed. So, if you've ever played EverQuest 2, the shining example of every game should be.
Oh God.
There, go ahead and throw a picture of the bags in EverQuest 2, and how you'll see there's like 6 slots for bags, and the bag size goes up to like 80 slots per bag. So what 6 times 80 is? You're an accountant.
Not that kind of accountant.
It's a lot of numbers. It's a lot of slots.
It's a lot of zeros.
And it's like, and they're all full of crap. And like, who knows what it all is? And so you leave the game for a week and a half. You come back and you're like, what is all this? You're overwhelmed and you're like, forget it.
So much quest here that I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, and like, so weight stops the developers from putting in that kind of system where you need to have ridiculous amounts of inventory.
Okay. I hate getting encumbered. I hate that I have to manage my inventory and think about what I have to destroy because I have too much weight and now I have to get rid of something because I'm not near a bank or a vendor. That is the worst. I hate that in every game that's ever happened in. I hated it in EverQuest. I hate it in... We are currently playing Fractured Online for the MMO 101. I hate it. And I would definitely prefer if the inventory had no weight.
Yep.
My take.
And you're lovely, but you're wrong.
This is one case where I do not want realism. Take that one and just... I don't want to think about it. Take it off my plate.
When it's inconvenient, huh? I see how it is.
When it interrupts my playing, like I'm out playing and then all of a sudden, oh crap, now I have to like stop questing, stop killing,
Yeah, but you just said you like
I have to ask my group members like wait for me because sorry guys, I have to sit here and look through like my bags and decide which thing I'm willing to part with.
Oh, my character is starving to death because I just destroyed the food. Oh my god.
That might be the
That's
choice
gonna
I
be
make.
you.
Does it matter? Or something else in my bags.
I think the weight is something where it's again one of the things you like to manage in a game, and it's something that has a positive effect on the design of the game. So I'm for about weight inventory. Coins, I don't really care either way.
Well, again, we agree to disagree.
Yes, and again,
how are we married?
When you say
anyway.
we agree to disagree, that's a strong indicator that I am right.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, let's agree to
right.
disagree, right?
Guys, we're going to wrap up this video on character realism in MMOs. Join us next time when we talk about world realism in MMOs. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please let us know what you thought. We don't want to know if you didn't like it. I'm just kidding. Let us know what you thought of the video.
How could I not like it?
What type of realism do you want to see for your characters, and which things would you prefer to leave out of the game? And yeah, let us know. We're gonna do a few more of these couple conversation videos. So if there's something you guys want to hear about, post it in the comments, and maybe your idea will become a video. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, Eric.
Okay, bye.
Bye.